Hi everyone, Shane R. Monroe here. Quick tutorial today, Star Stable by request of somebody on Reddit. This is not a game for me, but somebody asked if they could see how this thing gets installed, so I said I would do it for them. Now, you have to sign up, you have to have an account before you can download and actually play the game. So I did all that off screen. We're not going to do that here. We're going to assume that you've got an account, you've logged in, and you have downloaded the online setup executable, which I've already done and put in downloads here. So in this folder, we're going to put our compatdata folder. I'll put a link in the description below. This is in a hidden area of your file system, so make sure you have show hidden files turned on inside of Dolphin. Otherwise, you may not find what you're looking for. All right, so this is pretty simple stuff. So we're going to right click this and say add to Steam. So this is going to add it to Steam as a non-Steam game. Pretty easy. We'll open up Steam off the other screen. And we're going to search for setup. In this case, I already had setup typed in here, so here it is. We're going to select it, hit the gear. We have to set up a proton compatibility prefix for this. So we're going to use proton experimental. Excellent. Then we close it. So what we're doing right now is we're pointing this non-Steam game to the installer using the Proton experimental compatibility layer, and we will hit play. What's being done now is a prefix is being built right over here in compatdata. And if I wait here long enough, it'll show up here once it's actually done doing what it needs to do to get that built. And you can see the Proton compatibility folder was created. So we can go ahead and dig in here while we're waiting. And inside, so basically this looks like a Windows folder because it kind of is. This is where the Windows compatibility files are being stored. So we're going to leave it right there while we complete the installer. Okay, and this looks just like Windows. C program files is actually right here inside this Proton prefix. I got tons of videos on Proton prefixes and finding these folders and all that good stuff. So I'm not going to go into it in great detail here. Just know that that's sort of what's going on. Okay, you can see a whole bunch of other things were created. Now you're going to say, you're probably going to want to run it. You don't want to do that. Just say no to running, hit finish. What we want to do now is go into program files where this launcher is actually stored and find the launcher executable, which is right here. We're going to right click it and hit copy location. We need this for something in a moment. So we've copied that to the clipboard. I mentioned a mouse and keyboard always makes these sort of tutorials easier. So if we were to hit play right now, what we would end up with is it would run the installer again. And because it's actually installed already, it might try to run the actual launcher, but we don't want that because if you delete that installer, then it's not going to work anymore. So what we're going to do is we're going to go in here to the properties and the target. See, this is the target. That's where the download folder is, blah, 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 blah. We're going to paste in now from our clipboard. This big old long path is where that executable is. Now, because the path has spaces in it, it won't actually work unless you put double quotes at the beginning and at the end. Then we're going to select that whole field, copy it, because now we need the start in folder. The start in folder is where the executable is located, blah, 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 blah. Delete, 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 delete. Okay. So what have we done? We've changed this setup into being the actual launcher itself, and we've set the starting location. That's it. And we already have, of course, compatibility still set for experimental. Awesome. Now, while we're here, I closed that, but what we could do is we could just change this to Star Stable because it's no longer the installer anymore. It's the actual product. So let's give it a try. You'll notice that it's going to continue to use this Proton prefix to actually install the game and do launcher updates and all that other good stuff. Especially with these first runs afterwards, it can take a moment or two. So we're going to give it the time that it needs to run. There it comes. All right, Star Stable. And of course, you'll have to log in. And I'm sad to say that I actually have an account now because I had to have it to set this up. I'm going to say, remember me. You'll probably want to do the same thing and we'll log in. Providing I typed over the microphone right, it should log us in. Yep, I'm in. Now, what it's going to do is finish the installation. So what you downloaded was the offline installer. That's just one piece of the equation. Now it's got to go get everything else, which I'm assuming is launcher updates and game files, graphic files, whatever it is, the need of the day. I won't cut any of this out just so you can see how long it takes. I am wired on one gigabit Ethernet to a 1 gigabit provider, so you may see faster or slower performance of this download. Now, I want to point out while this is downloading, everything is in this prefix. Everything. The actual assets of the game, everything that is being downloaded right now, everything is in this prefix folder right here. And you can tell it's a custom non-Steam one because it's got a lot more numbers than ones that are designated by Steam. This is randomly generated. Your number will not be the same as mine. Hopefully you only have one of these. And when we're done here, once it's done installing, we're going to check how big that folder is. Now, a lot of people, especially those with the 64 gigabyte SKUs, where's all my, how come my storage is gone? I don't know what's going on. I didn't install anything, blah, blah, blah. Well, you might have done this, right? And if you did this, you are now eating 6.2 gigabytes. Well, pretty close to 7 gigabytes actually of storage. So this installer, the launcher, everything is about 7 gigabytes on your internal storage. So keep that in mind because Steam doesn't know what this is. You did a non-Steam game. It's going to put it in the non-Steam game column, and you're going to look at that yellow bar and go, what the hell? Why do I have 8 gigs missing? Well, it's because you installed this. All right. So now that we have done that, let's prove that it plays out. We'll hit play. Now, of course, you know now it's in Steam. So when you go to the gaming mode or gaming's desktop, then it will play just like any other game. And there you go. Yeah, I mean, pretty much most of these non-Steam games work like this as long as there's no weird requisites that have to be done or compatibility problems. Most of the time, this process, which we're using for something you'll probably never play, this process is actually useful to do install Pokemon games, fan-based games, Fansonic games. Almost all of them work the same way. I'm just waiting for this. There you go. So it came up and it's playing just fine. All right, listen, if you like what we're doing here, especially if you were the guy that requested this, like, subscribe, hit the bell. You guys know what to do. I'm Shane R. Monroe. Thanks so much for watching and take care. We'll see you next time.